Hello, Trump Take 5 here, the channel that tries to keep you out of Trump fatigue by giving you all the important parts of the president's day in 5 minutes or less. A lot of the media yesterday was focused on things we talked about in yesterday's video, mostly Al Franken and Trump's jumping in on him right away and not really saying anything about Roy Moore. I don't want to spend much time on this today because I talked about my feelings on it yesterday and nothing's really changed. Franken seems to be apologetic and working with the ethics idea. Doesn't make him not guilty, and the big problem is still the fact that the president is calling someone out for something that he does and has admitted doing on tape. Kellyanne Conway justified the fact that Trump hadn't said anything about Roy Moore on Fox News by saying the Roy Moore story is 8 days old and the president put out a statement. Basically, Franken just happened, Roy Moore's old news, even though it's completely ongoing. And to be clear, the president's statement on Roy Moore wasn't anything other than if the allegations are true, he should step aside. With Franken, he tried to incite the event to be as bad as possible in his followers' mind. He actually alluded that what happened in the next pictures that we haven't seen. I mentioned yesterday that Robert Mueller had subpoenaed Trump's campaign for Russia-related documents. There were follow-ups on that, but the big story that I didn't mention yesterday that came out was that is Rob Goldstone, who was the publicist who helped to set up that Trump Tower meeting, is going to be talking with Robert Mueller's office. He lives in Thailand and he will be back in the U.S. in the near future to discuss the meeting that he set up between Donald Trump Jr., the group of Russians who were working for the government, and was also attended by Manafort and Kushner. George Papadopoulos, who was the foreign policy advisor, has said that basically President Trump gave him a blank check to choose a senior Trump administration job after the campaign, and he was authorized to represent the candidate in overseas meetings with foreign leaders. Papadopoulos also claimed that Trump called him last year to discuss his role as a foreign policy advisor, and that the two had at least one personal introductory meeting that the White House had not acknowledged. In good news, the president tweeted out yesterday that he would put big game trophy decision on hold until such time as I review all conservation facts. Under study for years. Will update soon with Secretary Zink. Thank you. So his base got a little bit fired up about this elephant trophy importation thing that I mentioned in yesterday's video. So it looks like he's changed his position on that, which is a good thing. Another thing that may not be on everyone's minds, but does affect a large portion of Americans, is there has been a crackdown on MS-13. The president tweeted out that hundreds of arrests were made, and The Hill reported that that is the case. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, along together with ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, moved on making a large number of arrests under a federal crackdown. This is something that Donald Trump said would be a priority, and Jeff Sessions has echoed that in the Justice Department, and it looks like they are making moves to try to crack down on this infamous gang who have a lot of influence throughout the country in different areas. The president also tweeted out that if Democrats were not such obstructionists and understood the power of lower taxes, we would be able to get many of their ideas into the bill. This is basically nonsense, and there was quite a bit of news related to tax reform yesterday, if you want to call it tax reform, more like tax restructuring to benefit rich people. But there was a hearing, there were 14 Republicans and 12 Democrats who were reviewing the $1.5 trillion addition to the deficit, and they voted at the end on party lines, so it was passed with a vote of 14-12. On the progressive side, we got some very good information from Sherrod Brown from Ohio, and that's worth a look if you're concerned about what this tax reform is trying to do. There were also other really good reports about the weaponization of the tax code by the House bill in favor of people who are owners of capital. We know that this has been a shift from labor to the financial sector, and now just basically to those who own large amounts of capital. This is too deep of an issue to cover in a 5-minute video, but what did happen yesterday was that the Senate bill turns out to look a little bit worse. So you're looking at two pretty brutal bills that are really unfavorable for those in the middle class and who are poor. That's pretty much it for today. As I said, the media circus kind of focused in on Donald Trump and his history of sexual harassment and a comparison between what's happening with the accused sexual predators on the left and the right. The big news is definitely taxes. That's what's happening that's going to change the future of most Americans. And if you want to get involved or you want to be tied into politics, I would be paying attention to that and see what you can do. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, share the video, share the idea to others who you think might be caught up in a cycle of Trump fatigue. And thanks for watching. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow.